Welcome to today's yoga practice, the third installment in the Chakra Yoga Series. Today, we're looking at chakra number 3, Manipura. The Solar Plexus Chakra, located at the solar plexus, above the belly button but below the rib cage, often referred to as the fire within, and that is the element associated with Manipura. Fire. It transforms states of matter. You add heat and water becomes steam. You add heat to ice and it becomes a liquid. It goes from a solid to a liquid form. So transformation is the key here for Manipura. I want you to think about all of your experiences. Experiences that you look on as both positive and negative. Could be a positive experience, could be a negative experience, it might even be both. But these are all lessons that you've had throughout your life. Experiences with your family, with your friends, days that you've spent alone, experiences at work, at play, whatever it might happen to be. You take all of your experiences, you reflect on them, you digest them, and that becomes who you are, your own sense of self. And when you're really sure, you're confident on who you are. You know how you respond. You know what your reactions are going to be. You are the master of your experiences. So the practice today is about mastery. Practice, practice, practice. And working with polarities to find the balance in the middle. So, with that, let's get started. Sitting tall, you can go ahead and close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your breath. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, bring your gaze downward. Now let's take a moment here to work with Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is a way to disperse energy in your body, and we really want to create a balance of energy in the body today. So we'll start by creating some heat in the belly, some fire, and then using that Ujjayi breath to disperse it throughout. So Ujjayi breath, what is it? It's when you restrict your throat just slightly until you are doing kind of a Darth Vader breath. It's almost like when you blow on your sunglasses to clean your sunglasses, right? You fog up the lens. So you take a breath in through the nose, and with the exhalation, you restrict your throat slightly, so that you sound like Darth Vader. So take a breath into the belly, inhaling through the nose and exhaling, squeezing the belly, tightening the throat, releasing the breath. Now pause for a moment here, relax the throat. And now take a couple more breaths with your awareness right at the solar plexus, right below the rib cage but above the belly button. So bring your attention there first to the solar plexus. Rest the attention there and breathe into the belly, breathe into the solar plexus, and exhale. 2 more breaths, just like that. Now relax the throat, relax the jaw. Next breath in, sweep your arms up. Bring your hands together overhead, and as you exhale, let your hands float down, palm pressing to palm. Another breath, sweeping the arms up with the breath in. Hands together, and exhale. Pause with the hands right in front of heart center. Just relax the shoulders, relax the legs, let the body feel heavy for now, and just breathe. Release the hands, open the eyes, if they're closed, of course, and come into standing at the top of the mat. So standing in mountain pose, standing tall, of course, always. Roll the shoulders back. Really feel tall through the upper body. Reach the crown of the head upwards. Lengthen through the spine, align the vertebrae. Now draw the belly in to create some support. And right where the rib cage meets, at the bottom of the rib cage, just pull the fronts of the ribs in just a tiny bit. So you feel like your ribs are right over top of your pelvis, your hip bones, rather than poking them out. Pull them in. Engage the solar plexus. That helps you realize where your solar plexus is physically within the body. And just think of breathing right there at the base of the rib cage, right where your fist fits, right at the V of the rib cage. The fist fits right there. You might even feel a little bit of Ujjayi breath, the tightening of your throat, as the core engages. These two practices, engaging the core and Ujjayi breath, really marry together very well. And that's what we want. We want those things that marry and come together in the middle. All right, let's bring a little movement. As you inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, step your right foot back, just a walking step, bend your knee, just come into a warrior stance. And inhale, sweep the arms up. Keep the solar plexus engaged, and as you exhale, let the arms sweep down, right foot steps forward. Repeat on the left side. Inhaling, arms sweep up. Exhaling, left foot steps back, just a regular walking step, right knee softens. Inhale, sweeping up, keep the solar plexus engaged to keep the vertebrae in alignment. Release with the breath out and step forward. Let's repeat that on each side. Move with your own breath, really aware of the solar plexus here. Keep the bottom of the rib cage pulling in and strong. One more time on the left side. Feeling the body beginning to warm up, talking about that heat. Now inhale, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, lean slightly to the right. Feel the rib cage pull in to create stability. And rather than leaning to the right, think of just reaching over slightly and lengthening the left side of the body. From the outside of your left foot, your left heel, all the way to the tip of your left fingers. Keep the shoulders stacked, so it feels like the left shoulder is stacked with the right shoulder, rather than falling forward. Just a little bit of flexion in the spine here. You can feel the core working. It's not about bending and collapsing on the right side, but staying long and strong. Bring yourself back to center and release the arms. Oh. Pause, take a breath. Feel the energy dissipate out of the shoulders, out of the core, right? The rest of the body absorbs it and evens out the energy in the whole body. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, leaning slightly to the left, thinking of lengthening the right side of the body now. Rather than collapsing the left, keeping the right side even longer. Right shoulder stacked over top of the left shoulder. Rather than rotating and falling to the left, you're just reaching the right side upwards and over. Rib cage is strong, and yet the lower belly is soft somehow. Really figure out here how to isolate the solar plexus. Thinking of just drawing the bottom of the rib cage in just slightly. Still room for the breath. Beginning to practice Ujjayi breath by restricting the throat and dissipating the energy and strength throughout the whole body. As you inhale, bring yourself back to center. As you exhale, release the arms. And just connect to the energy dispersing throughout the body, from the solar plexus outwards. Let's repeat that little warrior sequence 4 times, so twice on each side. Inhaling, arms sweep up. Exhaling, right foot steps back. Coming into a short warrior stance, really push the right heel down so you can reach the hands up without arching through the back, because you've got the lower rib cage, the solar plexus, strong. Really connected there to the center, the very center of you. Left foot steps back. Moving with your own breath, taking your time, really aware of how connected your breath and movement are. And one more time on the left side. Coming back to mountain pose. Standing tall. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bend your knees, bow forward, bring your fingertips to the mat. Pause here. Take a deep forward fold. Bending your knees enough, just working a little bit, lengthening the back of the knees. Nothing more than that. It's not about how deep you fold. Oh, there goes our driveway's cleared of snow now. Now inhale, come halfway up. Bring your hands just below your knees, on your thighs, wherever you can reach. I want you to find the spot where you feel like your spine is long and you've got a tabletop back. Like you could put a teacup and saucer full right between your shoulder blades. So draw the shoulder blades in towards the spine. Now instead of letting the lower back sway, think of drawing the rib cage inward. Yes, engaging the solar plexus. Practice, 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 and you will become the master. Breathe. Bend your knees. Soles of the feet press into the mat. Sweep up. Coming into volcano pose. Now widen out the hands just slightly so you feel like your hands are reaching corner to corner. Draw the rib cage in if you haven't yet. Just reminding you of the cue. Now bring your gaze upwards. Just be aware of this vertebrae. Keep the alignment of the spine. So keep the rib cage strong here. Hands open, energy in the hands, and I want you to feel like your shoulder blades are sliding down your back towards your hips. No ears pulled up towards your, no shoulders pulled up towards your ears. Breathe. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, just sweep your arms around and down, returning to mountain pose. Pause right here. Let's just take a breather. Let's step right foot back, a little farther than a walking step, and push down onto your heel. Left knee is soft. So coming into a bigger, wider warrior stance here. Ready for a warrior sequence. Ah, yes. So Rib cage, engage the solar plexus. Feel the fronts of the ribs pull in so they're not poking out. Vertebrae aligned, minimizing the curve in the lower back without tucking the tailbone under. Yeah. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Try to bring your wrists in line with your shoulders, but keep the fronts of the ribs pulling in. Right heel pushes down into the mat. Breathe. Take one more breath here. Now with your next breath in, come up onto the ball of your right big toe. Now pivot on your right foot, swing your arms round, rotate through the rib cage and shoulder. Come down onto your right heel. So your right toes are pointing to the right, shoulders are turned to the right, wrists, hands reaching straight out. One to the front of your mat, one to the back of your mat. Now anchor your right shoulder in place. Draw the rib cage in. Level out the hips. So try not to let the right hip pop out to the right. Keep the hips and shoulders in proper alignment. That's the guide for keeping the vertebrae in alignment in this brave warrior. Our right shoulder anchored. Turn to look along your left arm. Left ring finger. Not middle finger, ring finger. Breathe. So in this brave warrior pose, often the right hip pops out to the right and the rib cage pops open. By engaging through the solar plexus, the lower ribs, it takes a lot more strength to hold this pose. Now harness your Ujjayi breath here, your Darth Vader breath. With the exhalation, feel the throat tighten and really squeeze the solar plexus. Give it a little massage. Now left hand rotates up. Feel the left shoulder rotate open. Now sweep back. Right hand to your thigh. Left hand reaches up. Now keep the right side long. Rather than collapsing on the right side, stay long and lengthen through the left. Reach up to the ceiling rather than to the corner behind you. Harness your breath always. Stay strong through the center. Practice. The yoga mat is the perfect practice spot for strength. Now keep the left hand reaching up. Bring your gaze to the wall at the right. So chin now over top of your heart. Look back at your right hand as you take a breath in. Sweep up. Bring the gaze straight ahead. Come up onto the ball of your right big toe, pivot. Ha. Pause here. Now push into the mat with the ball of the right big toe. Really lengthen the back of the right knee. Feel the stretch into the front of the hip. The length on the sides of the body, from your hips to your fingertips. Take a breath. And as you exhale, sweep your hands all the way down to the mat. Plant your hands and step back to downward dog. Long on both sides of the body. Now find the perfect balance here between strength and softness. The perfect balance between working at something and finding stillness and peace within the activity. Active recovery. Lift your heels, bend your knees, walk your feet towards your hands. Inhale, come halfway up. Pause here, hands on your knees once again. Draw your shoulder blades in towards your spine. Pull the fronts of the rib cage in, engage the solar plexus. Crown of the head reaches forward. Got that teacup balancing on your spine, once again, right between your shoulder blades. A couple of breaths right here. Now put a little bend in your knees, but keep the hinge at the hip. So try not to drop the hips down. So we're kind of coming into a high squat. Your shoulders looking straight down at the top edge of your mat. Not your shoulders looking, but your eyes looking. So your shoulders feel like they're in line with the hips. Sort of. Now one at a time. If the belly is strong, if the solar plexus is engaged, one at a time you can bring your hands to your hips here. So take your time, one hand. Feel the ribs begin to pull in, and then the other. Now lift up. And release the hands. Inhale. Oh, hands on. No, release the hands. Let's step the left foot back. We just did the right side. Oh my gosh. A little farther than a walking step. Push down onto your left heel. Right knee is bent. Now sweep the arms up. Feel your body now beginning to respond. Feel the rib cage beginning to pull in. The practice is beginning to pay off. Try to bring wrists in line with shoulders and minimize the bend in the elbows as much as possible. Breathe. Use your breath to send energy to the whole body. Now as you inhale, lift up. Pull up onto the ball of the left big toe. Now rotate, pivot, turning your left foot to the left. Adjust the placement of your left foot if you need to. Arms reaching out. Right hand reaching to the top of the mat, left hand reaching to the back of the mat. Shoulders square over top of the hips. And as you draw the base of the rib cage in, feel the hips level off. Anchor the left shoulder in place and turn your head to look along your right arm, right ring finger. Breathe. Feel your breath transform into energy. Feel the energy reaching fingertips, feet, crown of the head. Now turn the right palm up and seesaw backwards. Bring your left hand to your thigh for support. Keep the left side long as the right hand reaches up. Bring the gaze upwards so you can really get length on the right side. Now keep the right hand reaching up. Bring your eyes to the wall at the left. Now sweep. Left arm comes up. Eyes. Now turn. Turn the shoulders, turn the rib cage. Pivot onto your left big toe. Pause here. Open up the back of the left knee. Re-engage through the solar plexus. Pull the fronts of the ribs in just slightly, just enough to create strength and still have room for your breath. Right? The balance between strength and softness. Activity and rest. Take another breath. As you exhale, sweep the hands down. Bring the hands all the way down to the mat and step back to downward dog. Three more breaths here in downward dog. Soften through the rib cage here. Give the core a rest. Lift your heels, bend your knees, walk your feet towards your hands. Inhale, come halfway up, resting your hands just on your knees, your thighs, whatever feels comfortable to you. Align the vertebrae. So shoulders pull in towards the spine, make room for the teacup. Crown of the head reaches forward. Fronts of the ribs pull in. Upper body feels really long. Use the soles of the feet and the legs to create stability, anchoring you to the mat, connected to the earth. Now, soles of the feet press in. Soften the bend in the knees just a little bit more. And now one at a time, hands come to the hips. Staying long through the spine, strong through the core. So plank is often the pose used to ignite the fire within, the Agni. Agni is the Sanskrit word for fire. But I wanted to try and create a class for you that isn't focused on plank, but creates some Agni, some fire, some heat within, using some of the other poses. Oh, yeah. All right, let's take one more breath. Now release the hands with the exhalation. Keep them strong. Try not to round through the back. Now turn your palms in. Spread your fingers. So the palms are open wide, thumbs are pointing forward. Still long through the spine, shoulder blades still pulling in. You haven't lost the teacup, you haven't spilled a drop of tea. With your next breath in, we're going to sweep forward and up. Slowly, take your time with your breath. And exhale, release. All right, so this next sequence you can do beside a wall if you choose. If you have an empty wall to stand beside, it's up to you. So let's step back with the right foot. Warrior stance once again. Longer than a walking step, but I want you to push all the way onto your heel. Really engage there. Take a breath in, sweep the arms up. Wrists over top of shoulders. Now using this Warrior One pose here, just to re-engage through Manipura, the solar plexus, so gently pull the base of the rib cage in. That's it. Now keep the attention there with the solar plexus and just sweep your hands down to your left thigh and at the same time just hinge forward, placing your hands on your thigh. Pause here. So now looking down at the floor, I don't know, a foot or so in front of your mat, 30 centimeters, depending on if you're metric or imperial. Imperial or metric, I should say, respectively. Keep the collarbones broad, shoulder blades pulling in towards the spine. So that teacup there. Now come up onto the ball of the right big toe. Use your thigh, your left thigh, for support here. Keep the fronts of the ribs pulling in. Really embrace Manipura, the fire there. Now you feel most of your weight on your left leg. Push down with your left foot, spread your toes on your right, float your right foot off the mat. Now keep your left hand on your thigh, rib cage strong through the core. Push the right heel to the wall behind you and sweep the right arm forward. So if you're doing this against the wall, you've got your right side against the wall, just brushing your right shoulder. You've leaned forward, right foot floats up, reach with the right heel, and sweep the right arm forward. The wall's right there to rest your right shoulder on. And come out. Right foot comes back to the mat. Right hand to your thigh. Now keep left knee soft and step the right foot forward. So both knees are soft here. Feet are hip distance apart. Now soften through the rib cage. Really release Manipura completely. Take a breath here. Bring your gaze forward as the spine curves and softens. Soles of the feet press into the floor. Release the hands and sweep up. Ooh. And release. So turning around, going the other way, getting ready to do the left side. So the left shoulder is beside the wall. You notice I have a sloped ceiling, so I can't quite do the first part of the sequence against the wall. So here we go. Left foot steps back. Farther than a walking step, push down onto the left heel. Remember, this is just to get the body to respond, get the solar plexus to engage, the fire to ignite in preparation for our Warrior Three pose. Arms sweep up. Pull the fronts of the ribs in so ribs are balanced, aligned over top of the hips. Left heel presses down. Just feel really solid on your feet here. Connect to the earth below. Feel steady, grounded. Really important when you're getting ready to do a tricky balance. You need to feel grounded. Now hinge forward, sweeping your hands to your right thigh, also helping you to feel grounded. Eyes coming down to the floor, 30 centimeters or a foot or so in front of your mat. Metric or imperial, you choose. Now come up onto the ball of the left big toe, feel your weight shift forward. Push down with the right foot, lift the left foot off the mat. Left heel reaches back, left arm sweeps forward for Warrior Three. If you feel steady, you can go ahead and reach the other arm as well, especially if you are against the wall. It all depends on the strength of your core. Breathe. Keep active through the solar plexus. Harness your Ujjayi breath, your Darth Vader breath. Feel really long from your fingertips to your left heel. Now left hand comes to your thigh, left foot comes back down. Breathe. Left foot steps forward, keep the right knee bent. Now as you bring your gaze forward, release the solar plexus, let the energy dissipate throughout your whole body. Let the energy balance out here. From the shoulders, the solar plexus, even the right leg, right hip. Soles of the feet press into the mat, release the hands, sweep up. And exhale, release. Standing in mountain pose. Breathe. Right, right? Take a couple of breaths to digest the experience. Let your body use the energy you harness there and redistribute it throughout your body. Now inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, bend your knees, bow forward, bring your hands to your knees. Keep a softness in the back of the knees here, but deepen the bend in the hips. So trying to bring your shoulders into line with your hips here. Getting ready for a little more strength. Engaging through the solar plexus. Harnessing Manipura. Fronts of the ribs, pull in. Feel the strength there and feel it radiating outwards. Down the legs, strong, steady, stable. Confident. We practiced this, you got it. Now right hand stays on the right knee and sweep the left hand forward. Try to bring your left bicep into line with your left ear. Stay strong through the belly. Solar plexus engaged. Ujjayi breath. Harness your breath. Take one more breath here. With your exhalation, release, bringing your left hand to your thigh. Oh, feels so easy now, doesn't it? Still engaged, still harnessing Manipura. Left hand stays on your thigh. Readjust, your shoulders might have popped up a little bit, mine did, so I'm going to come back down, bring my shoulders into line with my hips. Fronts of the ribs pull in. Right hand sweeps forward with the inhale. Try to bring your bicep into line with your ear, looking down at the top edge of your mat, straight down. Using the breath to distribute the energy throughout the body. Using the work to find the power and the energy to feed you, to drive you. Finding the will to keep going. With your next breath out, release, right hand comes back to your thigh, your knee. Now bring your gaze up, let your hips drop, shoulders higher than the hips now. Relax. Let the rib cage open, lower back soften. Breath flow. Release the hands, soles of the feet, legs strong. Push up. And as you push up, give the energy to earth. Give your energy to earth. Earth gives back. Release. Take a breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, bend your knees. Bring your hands to your knees, your thighs. Yep, we've got one more to go. So drop your shoulders down, keep the softness behind the knees, bring your shoulders into line with your hips. Getting ready for a half forward fold. Let's call it a floating half forward fold. So at any time in the progression you can stop, you can return to your hands on your knees. Now pause, engage the Manipura, pull the fronts of the ribs in. Feel the strength here. Try not to clench the buttocks, but work through the core. The front of the body needs to support the back of the body here. Now left hand sweeps forward. And then the right. Harness your breath. Feel the burn. Yep, that's right. Fire, burn. Legs, solar plexus, core, shoulders, heat throughout. Remember, you can always bring your hands back to your thighs. Breath. Take one more. You can do it. Now slowly, left hand first. Try not to surrender completely, but find the balance between work and surrender. Press the shoulders higher than the hips. Release through the solar plexus. Let your weight sink into your heels. Soles of the feet press into the earth. Give your energy downward and it will help you push upwards. With your breath in, come up, and then exhale, dive right down. Fingertips to the mat. Take a breath in, just look towards the top edge of your mat, and as you exhale, fold. Little softness in the back of the knees always with every forward fold. Kind of feel your thighs pressed up against the solar plexus. And breathe into it. Bend your knees, plant your hands, step back to downward dog. Just a couple of breaths here. Active recovery. Feel the work in the hands, arms, feet, and legs, and the complete surrender here of the belly, the rib cage. Lift your heels, bring your knees down to the mat, and take a child's pose. Whatever version of child's pose suits you here, that's what you do. Press up. Now, if you have a blanket or a block to sit on, go ahead and grab that now. Knees bent, feet on the floor in front of you. You're going to take your left hand, reach under, grab your right ankle, and tuck your right ankle beside your left hip. Now hop left foot over. So your left ankle is to the outside of your right thigh. Now left knee pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And just hold on to that. Bring yourself really tall. You're going to feel the front of your rib cage connecting to your left thigh. Perfect. Now as you exhale, just sink down into your left hip. You want your hips to feel level. So if your hips don't feel level, it means you need support underneath. If you already have support, you might need something that's a little higher. If you could sit flat on the mat and your hips feel level, good for you. I can't do that. All right, so sitting tall. Right hand holds the front of your left knee. Left hand comes to the floor behind you. Now use the length and strength of the left arm to maintain the length of the upper body. So disengaging through the solar plexus here, soft through the rib cage. Take a breath. Reach up through the crown of the head with the breath in. And as you exhale, turn to look to the left. Use your left fingers to push into the floor to help you rotate through the rib cage and shoulders. So just be careful here. You want to twist in a way that you feel that you are twisting, but at the same time, I don't want you to over twist or hurt yourself. So just a little bit of rotation through the shoulders and rib cage. Now keep that. Another breath, reach up through the crown of the head, and as you exhale, turn your head now to look over your left shoulder. So I'm twisting not quite 180 degrees, keeping it soft today. Just want to get a sense of a rotation right at the rib cage. Feel your breath kind of massaging gently the solar plexus. Getting the diaphragm to work a little bit harder here. Now use your next breath out to release the twist completely, turning the head first, then the shoulders, then the rib cage. Now support your left foot as you bring it back over to the left side, and do the same thing with the right as you untuck your right foot, right ankle. Coming right back to the beginning again, ready to do the other side now. So right hand reaches under for the left ankle. And just tuck your left ankle beside your right hip. Now hop right foot over to the outside of your left leg. Right knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Hold the front of your right knee, right shin, and think of dropping down into your left hip with your breath out. And lengthen through the upper body, crown of the head reaching upwards. Right hip dropping down. See, I have support under my hips, and my hips still aren't level this way. They're so tight these days. There we go, that's a little bit better. Now use your left hand to hold the front of your right shin. Bring your right hand to the floor behind you, so you can feel the right shoulder beginning to open. Take a breath. As you exhale, just turn to look to the right. Look straight to the wall at the right or the corner at the right. Whatever degree of twist feels comfortable to you, right? Playing with really hard and really easy, finding the spot in the middle where you feel like you're working, but you're not straining. There's a difference. Remember, we're finding balance in the middle, transforming full-on work and full-on rest to that spot in the middle. Now with your breath in, lengthen, reach up through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, just turn to look over your right shoulder. Breathe. Really be aware of the solar plexus here. The spot where your rib cage is brushed up against your right thigh. With your next breath out, release the twist completely, coming all the way back to center. Support your right foot as you bring it back over to the right side. Support your left ankle as you untuck and return out front. Now toes to the top of the mat here. Legs straight out in front. Now bring your hands to your thighs. Get a sense, kind of like almost the same position you were at when we were standing, doing our floating forward fold. Well, that was enjoyable. Soften the back of the knees and sit tall. Get a sense that your shoulders are in line with your hips. Now use your legs for strength, anchoring, stability. So push down with the heels. Spread the toes. Use the energy in the feet and ankles to engage the legs, right? Harness it. Now reach the hands straight forward. Pause right here. Relax the shoulders. Now sweep the arms out to the sides, just really slowly. And as the hands begin to sweep out to the sides, feel the rib cage begin to pull in, Creating some strength and stability now, harnessing the strength and stability from the feet and legs, now bringing it into the rib cage, the shoulders. Now bend at the elbows, 90 degrees. Wrists over top of elbows, elbows in line with the shoulders. Harness your breath. Feel that energy coming from the solar plexus, spreading out. Harness the Manipura energy. Now open up through the arms, long arms to the sides. Take a breath in. And with your Ujjayi breath, bring the hands back to the front here. Until your hands are shoulder width apart. Pause. Shoulder blades pulling in towards the spine. Fronts of the rib cage pulling in just slightly. So ribs feel like they're balanced over top of the hips. Take another breath. Keep the rib cage, the solar plexus engaged as you bring your hands to your thighs. Keep the legs strong. Feel the energy just slowly returning back down. Shoulders are soft now. Hands are soft. Now soften through the rib cage. Soften through the legs. Soften through the soles of the feet and the toes. Yes, you have that much control. Master. All right. Toes to the top of the mat. Soles, feet flat on the floor. Hip distance apart, maybe a little bit more. Bring your hands behind you. Now come all the way down. Plant your hands. Palms of the hands, heels of the hands, thumbs, fingertips. Now soften into the elbows. Feel the rib cage collapse. So normally the rib cage pops out. So we need to access the solar plexus here to realign the vertebrae in the spine. So bring your gaze just slightly above the horizon. Feel the body begin to get a little bit longer from your hips to your shoulders. So you can feel the shoulders really open here. Now pull the fronts of the shoulders open. Now draw the belly button in this time and lift through the front of the rib cage. But try not to exaggerate the curve in the lower back. You want to feel like your ears are in line with your shoulders and your rib cage is in line with your hips. So the fronts of the rib cage are not popping out. You can breathe. You found the perfect balance. One more breath. As you exhale, just soften through the lower back, soften through the belly. Let the rib cage collapse once again. Just bring yourself down now, down onto your elbows, and lie all the way back. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Really give them a good squeeze in. Relax through the shoulders. Just take a moment here to feel the heaviness in the hips, the shoulders. Feel the rib cage spread on the mat. Now hands holding the fronts of your knees. Take a breath in and use the full length of your arms as you take your breath in. And as you exhale, draw your thighs in towards you. Try to pull your thighs all the way into your rib cage. Breath in, release your grip. Use the full length of your arms. kind of rotate onto the back of your hips here, or roll onto the back of your hips. As you exhale, feel the sacrum, the weight on the sacrum, and then the sacrum pull away from the mat as you pull your thighs in towards the solar plexus. Now harness your Ujjayi breath. So take a big breath in, and as you exhale, the throat tightens, legs pull in. Let's do 2 more breaths. Release, stretch out, coming into final relaxation. Make whatever adjustments you need to so you're comfortable. Take a breath. Bring your awareness back to your breath. So let your breath flow. Now bring your awareness to your body. Any sensations? And which of those sensations do you believe intuitively to be energy? Find the spot in your body where you feel the energy the most. Now use your awareness to distribute that energy in that one spot in your body to the entire rest of your body. Until you feel the balance of energy throughout your whole body. Until your physical body now becomes the energy body. Until all that's left on the mat is the energy itself. That is you. I encourage you to stay here for as long as you like. As long as you need to, until the energy in your body balances out and you feel transformed from your yoga practice. When you're ready to come out, start with little movements in your fingers and toes, your hands and feet, arms and legs. And just bend your knees one at a time, placing your feet on the floor. And gently roll onto your right side. And slowly press up. Sit tall. Now sitting tall here, make gentle fists with your hands. Rest your fists on your thighs and point your thumbs up towards the sky. This is Agni Mudra, the fire mudra. And just connect to the energy that you feel in your body. and how through the activity of your yoga practice and the stillness and rest of your final relaxation, you found this balance of well-being. Bring hands together in front of the heart. Taking a moment to be grateful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be loved. May all beings be at peace. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.